I pull up, I clear the block out. Keep me a short and he'll break a jaw, call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about.
All right, Edwin. Episode 4, Casual
Wars.
Corner Podcast. Let's see. Let's go right off the bat, starting off with the trilogy last night, Canelo versus Triple G.
Yep.
What did you think about the fight, man?
It was completely different from the last two. Way different.
I agree. I think, like the first fight, it was really I don't know, it was very technical. A lot
Yeah.
of boxer
Both,
versus boxer,
both
style.
fights were very technical, and I went and thought back about it, and I've seen both, first and second fight multiple times, and every time I've scored it for each fighter. So that's how close those fights were. Last night was not that. You could definitely say Canelo won last night.
Yeah, I think I watched them over a couple times now too before this third
Mm-hmm.
fight. The first fight, the first fight is the one that gets me back and forth, man. The first one is the one where I had it a tie, a draw, like the
Okay.
judges had it
Yeah.
for the longest, but now I'm like, I could see how Triple G won that fight. I could see Triple G having won the first one.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a robbery still. I mean, it
No.
definitely, but it definitely wasn't Adelaide Bird's 118 to 110 scorecard. That's ridiculous for Canelo that first fight.
Yeah,
But
that lady, she's a laughing stock of judges.
yeah, and then the
She's a
second
nice
fight,
lady. She's a nice lady, though.
that second fight though, I continue to have it for Canelo, but that was a really close one.
That was very, very close. I've judged it for both fighters. So, but not last night. Now, last night, there was a very big change in Triple G. He went from being Gennady, what's it, Gennadyevich Golovkin to great grandpa Golovkin.
He did. He looked kind of old, huh? He looked tired, man. He didn't put as much pressure as I was hoping he would put on Canelo, and I'm not super happy, I guess, with even Canelo's performance, dude. I mean, still, I'm glad he won. Supported it. He says he broke his hand at the end there at the press conference.
Oh no, it was a wrist. It's a tear in the ligament in the wrist.
So he had messed up his wrist.
And
And
he said he's had issues since the Caleb Plant fight.
since he broke Caleb Plant's face,
Yeah, since he broke that and fought Bivol, he's been doing it with a injury in his left hand.
you know, I guess that could explain why he didn't go for the finish. But that was a fight that I thought, I think, well, we said that we didn't think he would finish Golovkin, but after seeing the first few rounds, I was
He
like,
tried.
I was like, I could see a Canelo finish here, but it didn't come through. I don't think he went to the body as much as we thought he was going to go to the body either.
Did more than before. He landed at the end. I believe the stats were about 40 shots to the body, and they weren't like direct shots, like straight into the abdomen or anything. They were those looping, weird shots, like around the kidney area.
Hmm.
That's that's the most body damage he did, and then of course he tried to work the bicep like usual, but yeah, no, he definitely couldn't knock him out. No.
Yeah, I mean, they were both landing some pretty good jabs. I think, the story of the last two fights was a lot of times the strong jab of Triple G.
Yeah, the shotgun jab that he's known for, and he does have statistically the best jab in all of boxing, and we just didn't see that in this fight.
He landed a couple, but they were, few and far between.
Yeah,
Not as many as he should have, gone
not
for
even
it.
as many as before.
Right, and I don't even think he really woke up until that ninth round. I
That's what I was
also
gonna say. Ninth round, round nine was the big change. Round seven, he kind of did like,
How many rounds did you score for Triple G? Because I thought
oh
the
man,
scorecards were just as ridiculous this time as the first
oh
fight.
the one judge had it right. The other two, it's like, what were they watching? I
Yeah.
would give Triple G definitely three, maybe 4 rounds in the whole fight, but I wouldn't give him 5 rounds.
Okay. I think I only gave him two or three.
I'd give him three for sure. Four you can make an argument for because it's boxing.
Was it
But
round 12? Because I could see round 12 going to Triple G.
yeah, those were close. I would give him maybe 9. I wouldn't give him 7, maybe like 9, 10, 11, 12, one of those. Maybe, but yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I didn't
he
see 5 rounds going to Triple G
no,
though.
I definitely the one judge that scored it 117 to was it 111. That was fine. I agree with that. But the other judges that said it was what was it, 1 114 to 113 or something like that, right?
Something too close.
That
Yeah.
was like they were off by a round. I was like, no way they were off by a round. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. You said you gave round three to Triple G?
Which one?
Round three?
No, maybe 3 rounds, not round
Oh,
three.
okay. Okay. Because I was like, I don't think he won any round until round nine.
Yeah, no,
Like,
round nine is when he came back to life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what else. Let me see the judges' scorecards real quick. Because I mean, like that 12th round could have gone, I think, either
Yeah, because
way.
at the 12th round, they just both emptied the gas tank. They just started just swinging. It was a more reminiscent of the two fights just for those last few rounds.
For real. Let's see the official scorecards. Um, 116, 112 for Dave Moretti. He's a good judge, you know. I mean, when it comes to, boxing judges, not a whole lot of guys that
So he's
116
saying that was what 8-4.
looks like he gave Triple G round 8, round 10, and round 12.
Okay.
And then Steve Westfield 115, 113. Both of these
No,
next judges gave 115, 113, and I don't get that at all.
no. I agree. I agree with the one. Was it 116, 112?
Yeah, that was a pretty. I think that one I could.
That one I can agree with, but the other two, I don't know what they were watching.
Mm-mm. Yep, yeah. So both of those last two judges had it 115, 113.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't see that,
Definitely didn't see that.
but I mean, overall, I saw it as a money grab, man. I saw it as a trilogy fight, the third fight that should have happened not
4 years ago.
yeah, 4 years ago probably. And yeah, I don't know. I was a little
Yeah,
disappointed with
no.
it. It wasn't like the most exciting fight. We thought we were gonna see like a stamp on the trilogy, a really good back and forth fight, but it's not what happened. I'm sure Triple G won't be too disappointed though.
No, he wasn't like angry like he was in the last two fights. He was okay with the decision. He knows he lost.
Yeah, and he got paid. They both got that payday.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was what 50, almost 50 million for Canelo,
Yeah, almost. He made like 45 or something like that.
and what was it, like 25 or something for Triple G.
Mm-hmm.
They both got paid. I mean, dude, look at that discrepancy though between like I think Kamaru Usman made 500,000 in his last fight.
But that we already know there's a difference between boxing and UFC fights. That's not even.
That's such a big difference, and it's ridiculous though.
Yeah, but if
But
if UFC was that way, nobody would fight either way. I could see paying the champions that, but not everybody else.
for real. Um, but yeah, dude, Canelo. What's next for Canelo? I see. What I want is like a Benavidez fight next, but
Okay.
that's not where his head's at though.
No, he was asked that before, and because he did make that comment before about him not wanting to fight Mexicans, and they asked him about that, and he said he's down to fight anybody, but he'd rather not fight a Mexican, but he definitely wants the Bivol rematch next, but we'll see because Bivol has a fight in November against Ramirez in light heavyweight, and that's gonna be a fun one. But I think the Benavidez fight only happens if the WBC demands it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that not wanting to fight Mexicans comment because some of the best fights. And I mean, do you remember watching Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera, dude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, those are very fun fights, but did make other to like like who has Benavidez beaten? What makes him a worthy contender? It's not because he did make the point that there's always going to be somebody calling him out. Like remember what's his name? Demetrius Andrade that like interrupted the press conference and they got into it in words. Like there's always going to be somebody like that just trying to come for Canelo and he can't just always fight off the lower ranked fighters because otherwise we'll get more fights like remember that when he was forced to fight Yildirim.
Yeah.
that was a fight that was just horrible on paper. Like that fight ended in 3 rounds.
True, and I'm not being a Canelo hater, dude, because I'm a Canelo fan,
Yeah.
but I want to see, you know, he can you like what I would say is that his last two showings, even though okay, we could say he went up too far in weight to try to fight Bivol, and so that didn't work out, and he got outboxed or
Hmm.
whatever, maybe outpowered, maybe his cardio was a problem. They also was reports that he had a hard time with weight cut this time around, which makes sense because he was, he had to go down a few divisions compared to when he fought Bivol and
Okay.
the broken wrist situation or whatever, the torn ligament or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but these were these last two. These are two fights in a row that are kind of like lackluster for Canelo. Like they kind of maybe a little bit hurting. And for someone that you know I was always mad in the past about him not getting as much recognition from like the Mexican fans
Hmm.
because they weren't like about his style. Like they didn't
Yeah.
think that he had like the typical Mexican style of coming forward and brawling.
Yeah.
Um, I always thought that was unfair because I thought he's a great boxer, but then this type of thing happens where you're in a two fight streak where it's like you lost one and you didn't look as great, and then you lose this or you win this one, but kind of a not their best performance. So it's like this next fight, this third fight, let's see a knockout. Let's see you fight somebody that people think. I think he'll beat Benavidez. That's the thing. I think Canelo's one of the best boxers out right now. I just think he's
No, yeah. I think we'll beat him, but you can't just go around giving a shot to everybody. It's got to be a worthy fight, I think.
do you think Bivol is the worthy fight then? If he beats who he just got scheduled to fight somebody. Um
Ramirez, Surdo Ramirez, November
yeah,
5th, and that's going to happen in Saudi, and that's a fun fight.
that's a
Like
good fight, dude. That's gonna be a good one.
his Ramirez's record. I mean, the light heavyweight division they mentioned it's been kind of like low key, a little underrated, and Canelo kind of brought some light to it by jumping to it. And that's not wrong. That's totally a correct statement. And I looked at Ramirez's record yesterday. He's 44-0. His last 5 fights were all knockouts. So, and he's taking on Bivol, who's just a natural light heavyweight, and that's going to be a very fun fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely don't sleep on that fight because that that
Nah,
fight's
I know
that
I'm
fight's
gonna
gonna be
watch it. I'll watch it.
for sure. And I've been sleeping on boxing a little bit lately. But that's a good fight. That's a fun fight that, hopefully if the Bivol win comes through, I think we'll see Canelo go up there because that's what it sounds like he wants to do.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I would like to see him fight Benavidez, but I wouldn't be mad at him going up again to Bivol because I think that would be, like a courageous act. Like
Mm-hmm.
okay, you lost there. Let's see if you can prove yourself this time, going up that far and beating him the second time around, which
Second
I think
time,
he
yeah.
can. He could.
Yeah,
So
he just has to change up his game plan from that first one. That strategy, we know what he was trying to do. He was just attacking the biceps, and that's not enough for a guy that big. It's more so do more body work, do more uppercuts, more inside work. But let's see. As far as Canelo's surgery and his return time, it was said he's going to get surgery on his left hand, and recovery time is going to be at most 12 weeks recovery. So I don't think he'll be fighting in December like we thought he would, because there was that one rumor that he would have like a little warm up fight in December. But now I think he'll be back in May per usual, but that'll be his next big fight then. But yeah, in the meantime, we just have to see if maybe Benavidez could get another fight. If Because I know he's looking to maybe call out Caleb Plant or one of the Charlos.
Charles, that
We'll
would
see
be
how that
good.
shakes up. Yeah.
You know what? Because I was kind of in between Benavidez or in the Charlos for for Canelo. So I'm like, they could fight each other, Benavidez
Yeah.
and them, and then see winner of that after Canelo most likely is going to fight Bivol. What happens after that with that division? With
Right.
which of those two he fights?
Yeah. And like
But
I
it's a
said, it all depends on if the WBC makes it a mandatory because Benavidez is the interim WBC champion. He has a legitimate claim on paper, so that's why I mean like Canelo doesn't want to fight him. He's not like urging to fight him, but if he's forced to, he will.
it's a fun time for boxing, man.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. We have a lot of other things happening too, other than the what's it, the middleweight division.
Yeah, it's been the last few years it's been picking back up because I think there was a a pretty decent period of where boxing felt like almost felt like it was dying.
Oh yeah, it was lackluster. There was no star power, no names, and no big fights being made for a while.
And now you got all these big fights. And Canelo's at the top of his game, and now you got this recently got the
Finally happening.
Spence and Crawford finally got
Finally. I know
um
they were aiming for this fight to happen in October, but it's been confirmed for
November.
November in Vegas.
Gonna be a fun one,
Yeah.
dude. I want to get tickets for that one. That one's gonna be
I'm gonna look into going to that one for that weekend.
yeah.
That's gonna
Aeros-
be a big one. And I know I was reading the ESPN article, sorry, but the main issue with booking that, it wasn't the money split because it's gonna be 50-50, but the main I guess the big detail was the rematch clause. And the one detail that was given up on the rematch clause was the loser, the loser of the fight, if that person enacts the rematch clause, they will get uh more pay in the second fight.
okay.
And that was, I don't know why that's a big important detail, but that was one of the things that made the fight happen. It's like, oh, rematch clause, the loser gets more money than the winner. So I don't know. But I'm glad that fight's actually happening now because this is a fight it's a mega fight in the welterweight division, and it's about as hot as that division's been since the as long as the days of the Four Kings.
Yeah, dude, and I mean, highly anticipated fight. Both guys are undefeated.
Yeah.
Both guys, a lot of knockouts. It's going to be a good fight. Um, let's see, what titles does Spence have right now? He's got the WBC.
He's got all but one. I don't know which one Crawford has.
Um, which one does Crawford have? Let me look that up real quick. He has a
Okay.
WBO belt.
Okay.
The WBO belt.
Yeah, and then
So,
Spence has the other ones.
yep,
Because
WBC. W.
he had two of them. Then there was Manny Pacquiao's belt, but then Yordenis got it, and then Spence messed up Yordenis, and now we're down to the last one. Well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So November 19 in Las Vegas. All belts are on the line, right?
yep, undisputed welterweight title.
That's a great fight, man. So
Yeah, I mean, and you already know the one thing that sucks about it though. Spence is a big name in boxing. He's fought. He's got names. He's always a box office draw, but not Terrence Crawford. Crawford's just he's not a casual name.
but he's a great boxer though,
Oh, he's a phenomenal fighter, but everybody's always sleeping on him.
for sure. Who would you have in that fight? That's a hard one, man.
That's a hard one because
I think the odds are pretty even, aren't they? They're like split.
yeah, it's a pick'em fight, but I mean, from what I've seen them, the way I've seen them fighting, I think Crawford has the advantage because I've only ever seen Spence fight one way. He's always like in the phone booth, close, and he just fights that way. And I've seen Crawford change his methods.
Crawford is really good at changing from orthodox to southpaw, and you know, I don't know how much of a difference that'll make against Spence, but I could see that. I could see Crawford taking this. Um, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I who fought? Which one of them fought Mikey Garcia? It was Spence, wasn't it?
Spence.
They're just
Yeah,
he's just so technically sound. He's got really good technique, and um, he dominated him, didn't he? I'm trying to
yeah.
remember how the fight went,
He
but I think he
he
dominated Mikey
dominated him,
Garcia.
I think, all 12 rounds, and also it was a very big weight jump for Mikey Garcia in that division because I think isn't Garcia a lightweight usually?
Yeah,
Yeah, and he went up just to fight at welterweight, and that was way too big of a gain for him, and he couldn't hang with Spence.
he also TKO'd Ugas.
Yeah, do you count that as the TKO? Because I mean, it was stoppage. I mean, his eye was swollen. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a tough one,
But
but
yeah, no, he did mess up Ugas. I will say that there was no way Ugas was winning that fight.
I think in terms of size advantage, Spence takes that. I think he's bigger than Crawford, but
Is he?
I think he is. Um,
How?
because
Crawford's got like long arms though.
he's considered a big welterweight, and Crawford moved up.
Okay.
He was like junior welterweight, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Spence might have more power, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of stuck right now with who I have. It's a
Yeah,
really close fight.
that's a very, very close fight. That's a hard one to pick, honestly, but
Where do they?
I kind of want to lean to Crawford.
I could see that. I respect either one. Like
Yeah, no,
either one that you would have said, I would have been like, I could see that because
I
it's
could
so
see that. I
50.
could see that
That's why
too.
it's a pick 'em.
Either way,
How,
it's a good fight.
where do you have them on your pound for pound rankings?
Oh wow, pound for pound. Well, I mean, obviously Canelo's at the top.
I got Canelo number 1. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I think second would be Tyson Fury.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and then one of them has to be at third because before that Lomachenko would have been up there, but since his cut last defeats, he's gone down. But I could see, man, that's a tough one. I think Spence is not ranked beneath Crawford. I think Crawford would be better because, I mean, for one, well, I don't know. That's a very tough one, man. Crawford's good, but Spence has fought more names because he did just beat down Sean Porter and Ugas, like we said, Mikey Garcia. Even though he did have a whole like layoff from the Ferrari accident.
Yeah, that was brutal. But
I don't know. That's a tough question.
um, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it though.
Yeah. I'm
That's
glad
a
they
good
actually got
fight.
it made. Yeah, because it's what I like to see is champions fighting champions.
Yeah, and speaking of Tyson Fury,
Yeah,
some news about him too. Another good fight, another great news for boxing, I guess, in general. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua seems is official now.
yep. In December,
What is the are they fighting in London? Where are they fighting?
it's gonna be out there on that side. Yeah, I think it'll be London.
Did they talk
It's,
about doing it at Wembley or like where are they doing it?
I haven't heard about location. I think the one thing that was stalling this fight was the date because what's it? Fury wanted late November, early December, and Joshua wanted like the week before Christmas. But no, I guess they settled on in the middle, so they're gonna go December 3rd because Usyk doesn't want to fight this year. That's the news to that one.
Okay. That's a that's a fun fight too. I mean, I don't think there's any heavyweight that beats Tyson Fury right now.
No,
So
and who else is he gonna fight if not Usyk?
yeah,
No, nobody out there really.
I'm not interested in either Ruiz or his name slipped my mind. Who just fought Ruiz?
King Kong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ortiz for sure.
yeah.
I wouldn't really care to see either of those.
No, they're not out there. Ortiz is on his way out, and Andy's been kind of lacking. Like I think Andy should fight Wilder,
That would be
and
cool.
we'll go from there. And I mean, Usyk has a legitimate reason for not wanting to fight this year. I mean, yeah, sure, we'd like to see an undisputed title fight, but he was away at the war in the Ukraine for a while, and then he came back and went straight into training camp. So it makes sense that he wants to be with his family for a while.
Yeah, if
Can't
anyone
really,
deserves that,
yeah, I
it's
can't
Usyk.
really knock on him for not wanting to fight. It's like, yeah, dude, go take your family to Six Flags or something. I don't know. And let the other fight that was supposed to happen before it happened.
True that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a good some good news though. Either way, it was a while. I wanted to see Fury versus Joshua.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I care about it too much anymore, but you're right.
No.
Who else are they gonna fight right now?
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Um, I think Lomachenko just had a fight announced. I just don't
Yeah.
remember against who.
It's against some dude named Ortiz. Also, I
Okay.
forgot. Here, let me check my calendar because I have it marked. It's the same day as the Silva Paul fight, just across the country. Let me look. Calendar. Yeah, Lomachenko versus Ortiz on October 29th at Madison Square Garden at the Hulu Theater.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's cool. Um,
Yeah.
Glad to see Lomachenko back.
He's got to do something because what isn't Devin Haney supposed to fight Kambosos again?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. There we go. Another good fight coming up. Like boxing, dude. Is There's a
he's
lot of
picked up.
exciting
Yeah,
stuff going on, man.
yeah.
But
Between that
yeah,
and then what eventually two in that division, Ryan Garcia against Tank Davis. That's a
Ryan
fun
Garcia,
one. That's a very fun fight.
man, dude. I think it was for a few years now. I've been talking about Ryan Garcia being like, like obviously everybody has like the next up and coming boxer or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's a prospect.
I don't see him being Tank, man. And I really wish I could say that I do see him being Tank, but I don't see him being Tank. I think Tank
Nah,
exposes that chin or something.
I think he will. I mean, yeah, Ryan is taller and longer, but
He's fast as hell, and he's got hands, man, and he's but he's a good fighter. He's a good boxer, but I don't see
he's
him.
still just a kid. The
Yeah,
way I see him.
I don't see him taking a big Tank punch.
Mm-mm.
And I've been impressed with Tank. I was kind of a Tank hater for a while.
Is it because he's on
Um,
Floyd Mayweather's team?
maybe that's why I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but I was kind of hating on him, but he's good. Ever since he beat, who did he knock out? It was a good fight.
The last one was against Raleigh Romero.
That was a good, yeah, that was a good one. I'm thinking about another one where he knocked him out with an uppercut.
Oh, that nasty vicious uppercut. I know who you're talking. Gosh.
His name
Let me
slipped my
look that
mind.
up. Hang on, I'm on it.
That was a nasty uppercut though, and it was a fight where his opponent, was name slipped my mind,
It was a
was
Mexican.
yeah, he had gone up to fight against Tank, I think, and but he was doing a good job. It was like a fun
Yeah.
fight, and then Tank caught him, and I was like, ever since then I was like, all right, Tank's legit, man. Like,
Leo Santa Cruz.
yeah, Santa Cruz, yeah,
Leo Santa Cruz in 2020. Look up that uppercut. That was nasty.
yeah. If you want to see a nasty uppercut, a
That was an
legit one,
uppercut.
because uppercuts a lot of times aren't meant to land to knock you out.
No, they're
A
meant
lot
to
of
set
times
you up, yeah,
they
and hurt you.
set you up with the hook or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But man, how much power does Tank have in those hands?
A lot.
Yep, good, good. Again, more proof that boxing is on the come up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of boxing,
Yeah.
I guess we can get a little bit into this before we jump into some UFC fight
Okay.
night.
Sure.
Um, Logan Paul versus, I mean, not Logan Paul, Jake Paul versus
I'm gonna
Anderson
say
Silva.
Logan Paul's fighting Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, but that's beside the point.
Oh yeah, he got contracted by WWE, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty legit. Jake Paul should take that next if he gets knocked out. He's not legit. You don't like that? You hate that or what? I want
It's
I
different.
meant to ask you from
What's
like a
up?
wrestling fan's perspective because
Uh-oh.
I haven't watched wrestling since I was
I haven't watched WWE in
younger.
a while.
You haven't watched WWE in a while. Okay.
I mean, I tried to watch one day, and one guy did a promo, and I was like, "This is some nonsense," and I just flipped the channel. Like, what is it? Drew McIntyre. It was his promo. I know you probably don't know him. He's just some big Scottish guy, and he carries around the sword, and he like, he's talking to the backstage lady, and he like holds up his sword, and he's like, "This sword is made from a tooth of the Loch Ness monster." I was like,
That
flip the channel. I was like, "That's some nonsense."
sounds like some Henry Cejudo or Kobe Covington would say.
Right, but I'm just saying, back in my day, wrestling was like they questioned the dude's manhood and then they hit him with a chair. That was wrestling back in the day.
It was raw, dude. It was a what?
Yeah, remember the life sex celebration?
Dude, I'm surprised that that thing was aired. I was a little
I'm just
kid.
saying
I
that's
was
what
over
we
here
were
like
used to. Like, oh, that's what's happening on TV on Monday Night Raw.
close my
Not
door thinking like, is my parents
right,
coming?
right,
Like, what's going on?
right. Yeah,
No, but it was raw, dude. I used to love WWE.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was
In
my
those days, like '06, yeah, but not when
even
you
before
have,
that,
yeah, yeah,
but
the '90s and all that. That was great, but nah, no, I'm not a big fan of the product nowadays.
yeah, yeah. But I guess what do you think about the Logan Paul thing though, going to WWE?
Good for him. I mean, he can't do real fighting, so might as well go do fake fighting.
I guess so. But his brother Jake Paul's still in this boxing
He's doing
game,
actually
apparently.
real fighting. Yeah,
Beat Ben Askren terribly, which Ben Askren was not ready for that fight. So
I'm mad at
whatever.
myself for paying for that pay per view.
Yeah, no, I didn't pay for that,
I
but
paid for that. I
but
paid for that, and I paid for it again, I guess.
he showed up. Ben Askren showed up so overweight, and it's not like he was ever known for his hands. He had like the worst hands in MMA, even though he has,
Phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal.
phenomenal, amazing wrestling, but not great hands. And
No, his hands, he has none.
I was still hoping that he would expose Jake Paul. Like I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
at then what Paul was like what 0-2, 0 and or 3-0, 2-0.
whatever he was, whatever BS record, like beating some other YouTuber and a retired basketball player is like not really impressive. But
Mm-hmm.
um, beating Ben Askren, I was like, okay, like Ben Askren didn't get knocked out that easily by Robbie Lawler, so like what?
That fight was nuts. That's its own controversy.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, that bulldog choke or whatever.
Yeah, and then was Robbie really out? I don't know.
Right, he like had a thumbs up
And
anyway.
then his arm went limp, and then Herb calls it, and then let's go, and he pops right back up. He's like, "What's up?"
And Robbie was winning that fight at first.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was the most damage we'd seen Ben Askren take at that time.
And we were so excited about having Ben Askren get into the WWE. I mean, into the UFC.
UFC.
Yeah, I still have that picture we took with him.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, we met him in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Good
it's
times
at a Metro PCS in Wisconsin
for
for
free.
the Ayaquinta fight versus who was that Ayaquinta
Ted
fighting again?
Quinta and Kevin Lee.
Kevin Lee. Yeah. Um. But yeah, Ben Askren, right? So
Yeah,
didn't look great, whatever. And then after that, who did he fight? Tyron Woodley was after that, right? The two Tyron Woodley
twice,
fights.
twice. Yes.
The first one I remember Tyron Woodley seeming like he just wasn't looking for the knockout like he could have. That he hurt him at one point.
I remember he tossed him against the ropes. That was like the most exciting moment of the whole fight. But
But
he
he
was
never.
very gun shy. But Tyron Woodley's always been gun shy. Like he always counts on the one shot, and he did that even in the UFC. And that's why some of his last few fights they were pretty boring. I was gonna say
Yeah, they were. He never. Yeah, that was.
like
He's the fighter that Dana White said one time. He compared him to like Tyron Woodley's a fighter that you want to use on a video game so that you could just like tap on the hook button, right?
yeah.
But when
Like I
he's in real
remember
life, you wish you had the remote in front of you or something.
you'd wish like throw something, do something. But I remember his last good fight where I was excited for a Tyron Woodley fight. It was remember the first Wonder Boy fight at UFC 205.
Yeah,
That one was good. After that, you went downhill.
yeah. And then he had some pretty boring fights with
Because he had the rematch with Wonder Boy that was boring,
boring
and
as hell.
then he had a fight with Damian Maya. That was boring too. Then then he got owned by Kamaru Usman.
Oh yeah.
See, and then he got finished by Luque.
Yep. And then it's not like the Jake Paul fights were any good. They just had like little glimpses of like here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Analyzing Paul's boxing though, do you see, even though Anderson Silva's old, do you see Jake Paul winning?
It won't be easy.
Definitely not. I mean, the fight is, it's official. It's in October. What date is it? I forgot already, but it's in October at
Oh, 29th, October 29th at the was it Gila River?
at the Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Even though it says Phoenix, it's in Glendale, Arizona.
It's not Phoenix.
Yeah, not Phoenix. Not too far from it though.
No,
Um,
20-minute drive.
over at the Westgate Entertainment Center. It'll be a good time. I'm still debating on buying ticket. I think I will. I think I'm
I was
gonna
gonna
buy
say,
some
if I were
tickets.
you, I would buy like those $70 tickets in the 200 level because
Yeah, because I didn't
those.
want to buy them because I was like, that's gonna be kind of far from like I'm not gonna be able to see it that well, but whatever, man. Just to
I
say,
mean, you were there, but also I don't know, like I don't know how the setup of that arena is. If the seats are like steep or not. Yeah, if they're like
they're a little steep. I
okay,
went I went there for the Brandon Moreno fight,
okay,
where he beat Figgy for the title.
yeah, that was yeah, and then was that Adesanya Vittori too.
Yep,
Okay,
and then Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards
Leon,
fight.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, why not? If you can, why not? You're right there.
might do that. But Leon Edwards, I mean not Leon Edwards. What am I talking about?
I'm talking about
Anderson Silva.
yeah.
ever
He's
since he
got
moved
hands
over to
still.
boxing, he's shown that he has hands still. You know, Tito Ortiz fight is whatever. Like that fight, I don't think counts. Like
It was a
Tito Ortiz was
circus.
known for his
That was
boxing,
a
and it
circus
was
show.
totally a circus show. But he did beat, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And who else did he beat? I feel like he beat somebody else that was.
It was I don't know his first name, but last name Machado. He had like an exhibition fight with him, and he knocked him down a few times. Like Silva's looking good. He's actually looking. It reminds you of Silva back in the day when he was the goat.
Yeah, he might be old, but that experience, man, and he's still elusive.
Very.
I could see him touching him. Part of me thinks that Jake Paul could catch him, and with Silva being old, who knows how his chin will hold up to like, a Jake Paul punch, which who knows what that dude's even on. But
Mm-hmm.
um I still don't see Anderson Silva losing that fight. I think boxing wise, like skill wise, I think Anderson
It'll,
Silva's
I think it'll go to decision. I don't think there's gonna be a
yeah.
finish. It'll go to decision, especially with the way Anderson fights. Like he's a very elusive fighter. He'll keep the distance, and his arms are long, so they'll hit each other. And I think Paul is gonna have trouble reaching him. I think it'll go the distance with Anderson Silva winning, but
I just hope it's not a nightmare situation where you see like
I don't want to see him get knocked
Silva
out
Silva doing
unconscious.
the Chris Weidman fight thing where
Oh
he's like
God,
looking all
no!
good, elusive, and like just kind of being
Puts his hands
taunting him
down to
with
his
it,
side.
and then gets caught and
Yeah,
knocked out, and then
I don't.
nobody ever takes MMA seriously in the
Nah,
boxing world. Even though it's
nah.
unfair, if it was a MMA fight, Anderson Silva would rock Jake Paul's shit. He would,
Yeah,
but whatever. It's a fun little matchup there.
it's a fun little one there. We'll see.
So during the break that we
Yeah,
had right now, you brought up a really interesting fight that I didn't know existed.
yeah.
So
I it just came across on a little on the heads up display last night at the during the I think the prelims of the Canelo card for that the zone's X series of boxing where they do like little celebrity nonsense and things here and there, and it's Jake Paul's former opponent that he was supposed to fight in August. Was it Rossman Jr. or such?
yeah,
He's actually fighting Vitor Belfort now,
that's
and
that's such an interesting
that's
fight, man.
hilarious.
Yeah, in a boxing fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have visa issues, and that's why supposedly the Jake Paul fight didn't get made?
No, 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 no. That you're thinking of Tommy Fury, but no, Rossman Jr. That was uh weight cut issues
Weight cut issues.
between weight cut issues and them saying that like the Paul's team kept trying to like change up the conditions of the fight, and it turned into a he said she said thing like, oh, he can't make weight, oh, they keep changing things. It was a mess.
Okay, but he's gonna fight the comeback of TRT Tour, hopefully.
Super Vitor.
Yeah, that's that's fun. You know,
Oh,
Vitor is the one that got knocked out by that front kick, right, for against Anderson Silva.
and Lyoto Machida.
He got both of those legendary
Yeah.
head kicks, man. That's crazy.
But
Front
yeah,
kicks.
no. Yeah, no. Last time I saw Vitor, he boxed Evander Holyfield in that circus fight in
Jeez.
Florida. That
Yeah, I need to.
was
I had not watched that one, but
I I streamed it.
did Tito win
Uh,
that?
Vitor, yeah.
I mean,
He won it like
Vitor.
I think it was like first or second round. It was horrible. It was like Evander should not be in the ring. It was a horrible RT. Vitor's back on the supplements. So we'll see. We'll see how he comes back in on this one.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully on him. I mean, he's older now. I wouldn't be
Oh,
mad at it as long as they were both on him.
I got a feeling because the other guy, Rossman Jr., he's like also what 6-0. He's he's a young guy, but Vitor is Vitor. He's a savage. That's a he was what is it? He was a monster in Pride. He was a monster early on. He's just a scary guy overall.
That should be a good watch as well. Um, So,
Hmm.
to end it up with boxing or whatever, we were talking about the Canelo Triple G fight earlier on,
Yeah,
and um, anything else to add, man? I mean, kind of, in my opinion, a little bit of a disappointing fight. Not the fight that I expected. The second fight isn't always the best fight, but in this case, it was the best of the trilogy. The
yeah. The
second fight
best one
was
was the second one for
a
sure.
great fight. The first one I thought was a great fight when I
It,
saw
it
it,
was a
but
draw. Yeah,
but and then the second fight
they went all
was
out. They were swinging. They both ended up, being bloodied up at the end of the fight. It was
because
good.
Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, they came up with a game plan to go forward, do
They
that.
fought. They fought like Mexicans.
They
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 both.
fought like Mexicans finally, and fans enjoyed that.
That was a fun one. Yeah.
Why he didn't come up forward that way this time around, I don't know.
He was kind of more forward in this fight, but just more cautious still. I mean, both guys, you do have to be very cautious because they can counter you with something ridiculous and change the whole fight. But other than being cautious and respectful, um, yeah, Canelo definitely dominated the whole fight. Triple G showed his age. He's not done yet. He's still a champion at 160, so I'm sure we'll see him defend those belts again soon. But as far as what he won, he definitely didn't win that many rounds. Maybe give him like three or four at best. And let's see. All
He
right, well,
switched
what?
switched coaches this time around.
Yeah,
No more Abel, and he had a what's his name? His new coach.
I don't know. I don't know his name.
I forgot his name, but switch coaches for this camp, and I did hear Eddie Reynoso on the Canelo side
Mm-hmm.
talking about, like, I forgot which round it was, but he told them to, like, be cautious and, like, be safe.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that had to do with his injury, but I was kind of disappointed. I was like, no, man, tell him to go for the knockout. He's coming off a loss. Let's go for a stoppage, against Triple G to end the series without,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many people that swear that Triple G is 2-0 against Canelo.
Yeah. There's gonna be people that say that, but no, I don't think he is. Especially after yesterday, and I think it's 2-1, maybe, but
Yeah, I wouldn't be
that,
mad at somebody that says 2-1. I'd be like, yeah,
yeah, 2-1, I'd agree, but no, it's not. It's not Triple G of back in the day. There's a very
no.
big difference.
Yeah, he didn't pull the trigger as much.
No jabbing, no overhand rights. His chin held up, but took forever to get started. He just looked old. He looked old. Like
Slow.
time took its toll on him now. He's 40. Canelo's in his prime now, and Canelo's only advantage because in this fight was speed. Power, they were pretty much matched equally. That's why we didn't really see much knockout danger on either side. But yeah, Canelo's advantage in this was the speed.
I just wanted more back and forth action. That's why I made that comment earlier about it kind of
Mm-hmm.
feeling like a money grab. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a good moment for Triple G to just ride off into the sunset type of thing. He's given us so many wars and like, nah, he's done what he's had to do. I think he's on his way out for sure.
Yeah. Um, Good showing then.
Yeah.
But okay, do you want to switch it over to some UFC now? Because we had some really good fight. Unless you want to add anything to this Canelo Triple G or boxing uh segment.
As far as that, other than Canelo going to get surgery, I think he'll be back in May. We'll see how these next
Oh,
what
what's next for Triple G? Yeah, I forgot about that. We didn't mention that. We talked about Canelo fighting against Charlo. I forgot his first name. Jamal Charlo, the one that holds like all
Charlo's.
those belts. Um, him or Benavidez for Canelo, but what's next for Triple G?
Hmm. I mean, I don't know of any other contenders in that in the at the 160 pounder division, and I definitely know he's not going to go down in weight. I think he's just going to stay there and defend until he decides to just call it quits against. I don't know if any other big names. I think he'll just defend against like mandatories, if anything, because he already beat Daniel Jacobs. I mean, maybe he could take on middleweight. See, Saunders retired. Caleb Plant maybe, but Plant's at super middleweight. So I think Triple G's just gonna. I mean, he could fight one of the Charlos if he really wanted to go, up and down in that division. Let's see, there's also Morel. Otherwise, yeah, no, just give him a few fights here and there, but I don't think it'll be anything as big as Canelo. I think that was like the highlight of his career now.
Yeah, and definitely the one that got him paid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's not gonna be mad about it.
No.
Um, all right, you want to go into UFC Fight Night?
Sure. Let's swap it over because he had another event that night.
UFC Fight Night. It was a night of a lot of cuts, big
There's a lot
cuts.
of blood all over the octagon.
Yeah, some surprises there about there not being a doctor stoppage sooner in a couple of them.
I like that doctor. That guy is my kind of doctor.
That guy wanted to see some action,
He
dude.
let that stuff go. Other people would have just been like, "Oh no, let's stop this. Send him to the hospital."
There's
Not this
one
guy. He
one cut that I was like, dude, that is too dangerous to have not been stopped. But we'll talk about that
We'll
one because
talk about him, but no, that's
that
my
was a
kind of doctor
co-main.
though. Like if I ever fought, I want him to be my doctor. Like, let it go. Cut me, Mick. Cut me.
But UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen
What's up?
versus Song, UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Sandhagen wins TKO doctor stoppage before the fifth round starts. So he's
Yep.
in between rounds between the fourth and the fifth.
And the round four,
Big,
yes.
big cut for Song Yadong.
Above the eye, yeah.
Big
It was
cut.
nasty.
Yeah, dude. I'll post a picture of it because it was nasty. I
You got to
mean,
see it, man.
this
It
thing.
looked
Oh,
like,
look at
uh,
that thing.
yeah. Look at that. That looks like straight up. He got hit with an axe.
Yeah, man. It was brutal. What did it come out? It came out of an elbow. He like
It was a
one of those
lead-in
upward
elbow.
elbows.
Yep, yep, yep.
Cut him straight up, dude. It was sick.
And that was a very good strategy by Sandhagen because we saw Song Yadong when he goes forward, he goes in so strong because he's a knockout guy. He goes in so strong, and the way to either dodge that in oncoming attack, but what Sandhagen did, he just put up elbows and he just sliced him.
And the interesting thing is that I think on some of the judges' scorecards, if the fight would not have been stopped, Song could have won the fight. Like I think he was up on the judges' scorecards.
Was he? I thought two of the judges had Sandhagen up like what is that? Was it round four? I think it was like 3-1, and one judge had it 2-2, something like that.
I guess I'd have to look at him again
I have to
because
look,
I could
but
have sworn that Yadong was like up on the scorecards. Um,
oh,
and I've heard some people having it scored for Song. What did you think? Because
I thought Sandhagen was winning.
I did think he threw a lot of on too many flying knees.
Yeah, you could see them coming a mile away.
They were virtually identical. I think the total strikes thrown or landed were like even.
They were even. They were even early on, but towards
Um,
like rounds 3 and 4, that's when I think Sandhagen started to pour it on because that eye was really bothering Yadong. He couldn't even see. He couldn't even see anymore. Blood was all in his face, and it was swelling. Like other than what was happening at that moment, you also got to consider like what kind of damage is done to that eye.
yeah, he said
He couldn't
Song
see. He
Yadong
couldn't
said he
see.
couldn't see. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think he told the doctor that too. Like I can't
At the
see,
end
and
of it,
that's
he's
why he
like,
stopped it.
I can't even see. It's like, no, you can't have a one-eyed fighter. Only Michael Bisping can do that.
um, really good fight though. Like high level. I was surprised by Song Yadong's um performance to be
He
honest with
had
you.
very good takedown defense.
Very good takedown defense.
I saw was it Sandhagen went for an unusual amount of takedowns for him being a striker. He went for like at one point he was 0-7 in takedown and yeah, in takedown attempts at one point in that fight. So good attest to that.
Um So I'm looking at the scorecards
Looking,
right now.
yeah,
So Sal Diamato had it 38-38 going into the fifth. So it
two to
was
two.
draw. And then Chris Lee had it 39-37 for Sandhagen going into the fifth. And then Derek Cleary had it 38-38 draw going into the fifth. So
Wow, so
it could
two
have
draws.
potentially been Song Yadong if he won the fifth round.
Yeah, it was all gonna hang into the. Wow, okay.
That's kind of an interesting fact there. I mean, I think, Song had a good performance. I wasn't mad at it. And if
Oh,
it's true he couldn't see, because he looked like he had a lot more power than Sandhagen.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, he had a lot more. His punches carried a lot more strength to him.
Obviously, Sandhagen had the most damage.
Yeah,
You know, well, Song had the most damage done to him, but by Sandhagen. But
yeah, it was all elbows and knees, really.
yeah, um, I like Sandhagen's style.
Hmm.
He's unorthodox but calculated. Um, it couldn't have. I'm not mad at the stoppage either because it was a big cut. You know,
Yeah, no, no, yeah, like you said earlier, surprised that the doctor let it go, but I wasn't mad that he let it go either.
yeah, I almost hoped that he wasn't going to stop it that fourth round. Sandhagen looked pretty disappointed about the stoppage.
Mm.
Um, Next for Sandhagen though, that I want to see him fight Chito.
Yeah,
Chito
not
Vera versus Sandhagen.
that'd be fun. It'll either be Cheeto or Marab.
Yeah, Dvalishvili or
Yeah,
whatever.
he could
He,
take on either of those guys, and that's a justifiable fight.
yeah. Um, Peter Yan versus O'Malley for the titles, or I mean, it's probably going to be next for whichever one of those two win that fight. To fight then for the title
Yeah,
after. Um, I would prefer a Chito Vera versus Sandhagen fight. I think that'd be fun.
that's a fun fight. That would be a very, very fun fight, and especially with the kind of the resurgence that Cheeto Vera has had lately. With what is it? He knocked out Dominic Cruz. He knocked out Frankie Edgar.
Legends.
Yeah, he's been on a tear lately.
And he's criticized for fighting older guys that are coming off of you know the end of their careers. But so Sandhagen fight is perfect because it's like
Hmm.
he wins that fight. What's the hold up about getting him a title fight?
After that, no, I think that's honestly a contender fight. I don't think Sean O'Malley's deserving yet of a title fight.
Me neither, but he's got the most
He's
social
got
media following, so
he's
he's
got
gonna get.
Dana White privilege
Yeah,
just because he dresses all funny and he talks a lot of smack and he's a needle mover in that sense, but he's only got one legit name on his resume, and it was already a.
Montano. That dude got cut, didn't he?
Yeah, they'd let him go like his fight after that. That dude
Nah.
with the green hair. No, no, no. The only fight that O'Malley has on his record was Pedro Munoz, and that ended via eye poke.
Yeah,
So it's not even like justifiable to get that guy a title fight yet.
I think Peter Yan schools him.
I
So,
think so too. We'll
um,
see. Yeah, no, that we'll cover that more on next episode for 280.
yep,
But yeah, but yeah. For now, Sandhagen could take on either Cheeto or Marab. I wouldn't be mad with either, but of course, the Cheeto fight that'd be a fun fight.
for sure. I don't know what's next for Yadong. Um,
See, I don't know the bantamweight rankings like that.
his stock didn't drop though.
No,
He looked good,
no. He
and he's
got he,
24. He's 24 years old.
he's a young guy. And say if anything, he got fans from the way he fought.
Yeah, and being one of the few fighters from China, and he's
Oh
making
yeah.
some noise here. Um, they're definitely gonna push him some more.
You see a
He's got some good
bantamweight.
wins too. He beat Marlon Moraes, Casey Kenny.
Let's see. Oh, and speaking, maybe you could fight Rob Font, Munoz. See, right now, Song Yadong is number 10. Munoz is 9. Dominic Cruz is 8. Rob Font is 7. And then, Marlon and Marab are ahead of him. and then Dillashaw and Yan. You can't, yeah. And speaking of bantamweights, we got news today that Jose Aldo retires from MMA.
Yeah, that's good for him. Kind of sucks, but he has lost a bunch of fights that are. Who did he lose to last? He lost to
He lost to Marab.
hmm Marab, like an up and coming talent there. So it's kind of a good time, I think, to retire. Maybe, he had one fight left on his contract. I wouldn't have
He
been
did.
mad at like if he fought Dominic Cruz or something.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to just go off on that, but whatever. I mean, good for him. He's done. I don't think he would have been a title contender anymore after losing that
He
one.
tried. He tried.
He's so close a bunch of times,
yeah. But
to getting
then,
back.
when he got to that one last fight that he needed, it just fell short. Like, he had a good opportunity against Piotr Jan, but Jan put it on him that time. And after that, yeah, no, he wasn't gonna be at the top anymore.
No, and
If anything, a gatekeeper, and you'd hate to see a guy like Jose Aldo just be a gatekeeper.
yeah, he probably doesn't need the money.
Nah, he can retire in the villa in Brazil anytime he wants.
True. But, he had a great career.
Yeah,
Legend. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Um, so I guess we'll see with
yeah,
that.
he's already I guess technically a two-time champion. He had the big rivalry with Conor McGregor. Then after that, the wars with Max Holloway.
Yep. At featherweight, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of featherweight, there was a
Well,
Calvin Cater versus Allen got announced too.
yeah. For when?
Yeah. Let me check real quick because I forgot, but it got announced not too long ago, like sometime this week. That's
Okay.
a good fight for
That's a
that
fun
division.
fight.
October 29th, UFC Fight Night.
Oh wow.
But yeah, a lot of fun stuff going on. Bryce Mitchell got a fight too recently. I don't know against who though.
I saw that. I don't even know either. And Bryce Mitchell, yeah, he's number 9. Is he fighting Evloev? Mazfar Evloev? Maybe.
I don't remember. But
Hmm.
yeah, so anything else about the Sandhagen Yadong fight?
No, I mean, we pretty much already know what'll possibly happen. We just have to wait on who Sandhagen gets picked to fight, and we also have to wait on the result from UFC 280. Go from there.
All right, well let's go to this co-main. This co-main was my favorite fight of the card. It
You
was
called it. You got me excited for this fight.
oh yeah, you're right. I did talk about this on our last episode. Rodriguez versus Chidi. How do you say his name again?
It's a chitty chitty
Yokani.
bang bang Yukani
Yukani.
from
What a
Texas.
fight, dude. Because that first round was all Yukani. I mean, it wasn't all Yukani, it was back and forth, but Yukani was winning the beginning of that, and then
Yeah,
we started showing up towards the end. What a nasty. Speaking of a big night of cuts, that cut was
he
nasty.
got a third eye. Rodriguez got a third eye now.
You could see his freaking artery, dude.
Oh, I saw that picture. I saw the one you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
look at that, dude. That's gnarly
Oh,
right there,
you can put quarters in there, dude.
dude.
That's a goat's vagina.
That looks disgusting, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous. If that was before when the
And once
doctor saw
again,
it,
my favorite doctor let that fight continue. I love that guy.
man, that could have been dangerous too. That could have been death. That could have been blindness. You know what I mean? Like,
Blindness. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but that's
That
cannot be
didn't
good
look
if that thing
good.
ruptured. Yeah.
Just rub some dirt on it. Put some big old glob of Vaseline on it. Just
That one that one came from a nasty
a
knee.
knee. Yeah. What's it? Because what's his name? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was he was going for the up kicks like to the gut, and at one of them, Rodriguez he went down, or like did he shoot for a takedown or something? It was one of those weird moments. He
Actually
ducked when he
took
shouldn't have. Yeah, he ducked when he shouldn't have, and he just eats a knee. Yeah.
It comes up right about there, dude.
There, yeah.
There, and he
Yeah.
stumbled.
He,
Look at that, crazy.
he ducked when he shouldn't have, and he just ate a knee, and it split up the area between the brow and the nose.
Such a nasty cut. And I think it was like one or two different rounds where the doctor almost stopped it.
It was just 2 rounds because it ended in the second.
You're right. I'm thinking about the Yadong
You're thinking,
fight.
but yeah, they don't. No, no.
This was only
Either.
set. This was only 2 rounds. You're right. So the first round, I thought they were gonna stop it in that round because that cut was so deep.
Yeah, in between or something because he was leaking. It was all over.
A lot of
But
blood. A lot of blood all over Chidi too. Um, Great fight, but the
but
comeback, man, the
yeah, that's the one
comeback.
thing.
Because we're talking about the cut, and it makes it seem like Chidi won. Chidi did not win that fight. The second
Nope.
round,
He
Rodriguez
got
comes
broken
back
down. He got
and
broken down.
completely ground and pounds him.
Round and pound. I think he just blew his wad in the first round, honestly, doing all that, got tired. He did get hit. He got caught a little bit at the end of the first.
He got
But this
tired though. I think you're right. He got
yeah.
tired.
Second round, he just he got ground and pounded and he just turtled up and Rodriguez just smashed him.
Two two comebacks in a row for Rodriguez because
Yep.
that Julian Marcus fight was a comeback. And
He has the coolest nickname ever. It's RoboCop.
RoboCop.
I love that.
I just love his toughness, dude. I mean, to come back like that and to keep fighting. He took that, he ate that kick. He acted like he didn't know he was bleeding. You know what I mean? Like he just kept
I bet he
going.
probably even didn't because you're all that adrenaline pumping and stuff. You're just going. I bet it just probably felt like sweat on his
Probably, I
face.
think he went like this at one point where he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm bleeding."
Like, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, no, that's happened. But I'm sure he felt it. When he got back to the locker room,
It's a
the
shame for
adrenaline shuts down. But it's a shame for
yeah,
what?
it's a shame for Chidi though because he looked like he was doing really well
Mm-hmm.
that first round. He looked great, so
Did
it sucks for him. But um, really good comeback. Awesome TKO by Rodriguez. I didn't see that coming. I thought they were gonna stop the fight. I thought Chidi would land another couple punches and they would be like that. That's it, doctor stoppage. But good for Rodriguez for stopping that in that second round. Otherwise, I think that would have been the outcome.
that was a good fight. That was a fun one, and it did bet fight of the night. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that fight did not disappoint.
And then all of these main card fights were good. So
Yeah.
Andre Touchy versus Algio, right?
Yep.
Um, Good fight. So Andre Fili wins by
Decision.
decision,
Split decision.
split decision. Yeah, pretty good fight there too. You know, I didn't think Fili was gonna win this fight. I thought it was gonna be Algio.
Think so?
That's what I thought initially, but he had more control time by a lot
Okay.
on the ground, and then he almost had a submission, dude. So he switched camps recently to I think
Okay.
he's do you know John Danaher?
Yeah, the Danaher Death Squad. All heel
Yeah,
hooks.
yep. So they got some sick jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
So he just switched down to John Danaher's jujitsu gym or whatever. Um, he had really, really, really close to getting. I think it was a rear naked choke. I don't know. He wasn't able to clamp it. He wasn't able to get it
Okay.
together, but it was a good attempt. Um, I'm glad Andre Fili got the win because I think we talked about him possibly getting cut if he had lost this fight.
Yeah.
And Algio was somebody that was coming up with a lot of, um,
Impressive victories lately.
yeah. So, I mean, that was a good fight. I don't know if I don't have a whole lot to talk about with this fight. It was,
I didn't watch him.
all right. Well, that's cool. We'll go ahead to real quick because I wanted to talk about Joe Pyfer,
Okay.
this dude off the Contender Series we talked about last time.
Yeah.
We didn't give Amidovsky a whole lot of credit because he's been like I think on a 3-fight losing streak,
I
and
see.
we talked about him
Yeah.
also being a fighter that would probably get cut if he didn't win.
Yeah, I
Joe
expect him
Pyfer
to get cut within the next couple days.
probably. Joe Pyfer looked good, got a knockout in round one. He kind of like hit him and then stared him down while he was on the ground for like a couple seconds before landing another punch that made the ref end it. Uh, Good for Joe Pyfer. coming off the Contender Series. So I think he's a fighter that Dana really wants to push, though.
Yeah, exciting. Keep an eye on him.
Yep. 3:55 left in the first round. So it was pretty early on. So keep your eye on Joe Pyfer. And then we had Boza versus
That actually
Nascimento.
went the
Um,
distance. Very surprising.
this was a split
Heavyweight.
decision also.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you remember
actually I
anything?
don't remember this fight, so I'm gonna skip that.
Okay, I was
I remember watching it. I just don't remember exactly what happened in it.
nothing really stuck to you then.
Hernandez, he arm triangle sleeps Barrialt or whatever. Mark
He
Andre
passed out.
Barrialt. He passed out, slept him with an arm triangle in
Wow,
the third round. There was like a couple minutes left in the third round, and Hernandez gets to win.
that's right.
Um, it was a nice arm triangle, so he gets to win. He is now, I think, he's not undefeated. He's got like two losses, but he's looking pretty good. Um, the only other fight on this card that I watched and that I liked watching was um no, that was it. That was it. The only
That was
okay, there's
it.
an that was it. That's the only one fights I watched. I didn't watch the Boza versus Nascimento fight, but I did see some highlights for Jackson versus Sabatini. I didn't catch that fight, but I wanted to because Sabatini was you know, up and coming
Yeah,
guy, some hype around him, and I didn't think Damon Jackson was going to come up with the win, but if I would have known his little backstory before this fight, I don't know if you
what?
heard, but
Nope.
his brother had died like a week ago.
Whoa.
So he's came into this fight after losing his brother, gets a first round knockout,
Wow.
TKO, against Sabatini. So cool story, he dedicates it to his brother or whatever, and it was a good TKO. It looked good against, like I said, an up and coming guy from Sabatini who had been on a 4-fight win streak. So it's a good fight for Damon. I mean, good win for Damon Jackson.
Yeah.
Now he's now on a 4-fight win streak after that win. So,
Wow.
but that's pretty much it for Fight Night, UFC Fight
Um,
Night.
Another sleeper, Jillian Robertson. She put
Oh yeah,
that one girl to sleep with a rear naked choke.
you're right.
What's her
Yeah,
name? Maria Agapova.
Agapova slept her in second round.
Yep.
Um, what division is that?
I think it's
Flyweight.
flyweight. Yeah,
Yeah. Flyweight rear naked
women's
choke.
flyweight. Yeah, and I know it was important for Jillian to kind of win this fight because been kind of like on a trading wins and losses lately, so it's been kind of shaky road for her. But this puts her back in a good spot here. So we'll see where she goes from here. Of course, at the top of the division's Valentina Shevchenko, and it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if anybody's beating Valentina
No,
soon, but said that about Nunez, and then along came
right,
Pena.
right.
So
I mean, Talia Santos was very close.
yeah, that would be a good fight.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, man,
we'll
good
see.
fight card. That main card, UFC Fight Night yesterday was pretty good. I enjoyed it. All finishes in the last few fights.
Yeah,
Um, and unfortunately, though, for us UFC fans,
I know.
there's no UFC for the next couple of weeks or whatever. There will be contender series though that I'll continue to recommend that. It's been fun to watch.
On the watch.
Um, but UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Jan.
Yan Jiaonan. Yeah.
Yeah. October 1st. That's
That's
the
not
next
a
UFC fight.
that's not a bad card because we've got Joaquin Silva, we've got
Randy
Brandon
Brown.
Allen, Jairzinho Rosenstrike, Ilir Latifi, Cody Garbrandt.
Wait, which card is that?
That's the next card. on October 1st.
For real?
Yeah.
Dern versus Yan. I got Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. Raoni Barcelos versus Trevin Jones. Sadiq Yusuf versus Don Shinies. I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
John Castaneda versus Daniel Santos. Mike Davis versus Borshev. And Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ritchie.
Yeah. We've also got Brendan Allen against Jocko. Cody Garbrandt was supposed to fight Ronnie Yaya, but I guess that he's getting a new opponent. I guess it looks like it. Let's read into this real quick. Yeah, they're looking for an opponent for Cody Garbrandt for this card.
That'd be sick. But regardless of whether or not those fights get made, it's pretty good card.
Yeah, it's not a bad card. And it's got Ilir Latifi against Alexei Olenek.
That's a good. Is that official? Because it's not on here on the ESPN app, but like,
I'm on Wikipedia.
that would be a good fight though.
Yeah, old man Alexei Olenek probably gonna choke him out again. Olenek's got like 40 fights. For those that don't know, he's just an old man who just what's he use? He uses that Ezekiel choke, right?
Yeah,
that's his bread and butter. It's an interesting little fun fight card to watch. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot of these fight night cards. They're very they'll surprise you. Like there will be some names on there where you're thinking, nah, this fight card's garbage, but then you watch it and you're like, oh, that was fun. That was funner than some of the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So week after that we got Grasso fighting Alexa Grasso.
Fighting Vivian Araujo.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
That was a rescheduled, or they had to get bumped up because it was supposed to be Cannonier versus Strickland, but Strickland got a hand injury, it looks like. But I'm not mad that Alexa Grasso gets a main card fight.
Me neither. I'm happy for her.
She's fun to watch. She's fun to watch.
Very fun to watch. Out of what gym is she at actually? Is she at she's not at the Tijuana gym, right?
What? I was about to say Tijuana.
Is that
yeah, she's in a Lobo gym, wherever that's at.
Okay. Well, regardless, she's good. She's been looking great. Obviously I want Grasso to win that fight.
Yeah.
She's 4 for 5 right now.
Mm-hmm. Her last loss was Carla Esparza, who's now the champion. So that's not a bad thing.
She's got to win over Kowalkiewicz. So
Kowalkiewicz, Macy Barber, and Joanne Wood. So yeah, it seems like when she's lost to really big names. She lost to Felice Herrig, who's a veteran, and she lost to Tatiana Suarez, who was at one point like the biggest prospect.
Where is she at?
Hasn't fought since we saw her in Chicago in 2018.
Yeah, because she was being labeled as like the female Khabib.
I know she was supposed to come back a couple months ago, but she just keeps getting injured, man.
That sucks, man, because she would be an awesome addition. Yeah.
She's a beast.
That Alexa Grasso card though also has Misha Serkinov versus Alonzo Menefield. That's a good fight too at light heavyweight. Rafael Sunsao versus Victor Henry.
Yep.
Tatsuro Tairo versus CJ Vergara. That's a good fight.
Yep. Cub Swanson against Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah,
Brandon Royval against Askar Askarov. That's a fun fight.
Ooh, yeah, that's fun.
That's a very fun fight. Other than that, nothing else really like popping out at me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after that, it's when we finally get the UFC 280 Oliveira versus Makhachev card. So,
worth the wait.
Worth the wait. It's gonna be good. You mentioned the Strickland fight got moved. So Strickland versus Cannonier got moved to December because of Strickland's finger infection or whatever. That's a fight I'm excited to see, what's up with that middleweight division. Adesanya is dominating it. We're gonna see Adesanya versus Pereira soon. So it'll be interesting to see what
Don't
Cannonier
remember.
and
I saw a video speaking of that fight of Alex Pereira. Like it's just a little short clip. He kicks up a soccer ball into the air and he hits it in midair with a bow and arrow.
oh dang. Yeah, that
And then
dude's
yeah,
dangerous.
like and then the caption said like this is Israel's next opponent. And I just saw that like I put myself in like on that side. I was in those shoes. Like if somebody were to show me that video and it's like, hey, that's the guy you're fighting. I see somebody do that.
Yeah, man. Sorry, it kind of froze a little bit,
Oh,
but yeah, for sure. If I saw that video too, I would be scared. You know, and I'm kind of thinking like he could win. He could totally win that fight.
yeah. And I think I'm hoping for a firefight, but lately with Israel, it's like either he does something really cool, some highlight reel type of stuff, or he has a snoozer. There's no in between with him.
Yeah, five fight or a 5 round, just like
Technical,
technical ass fight. Yeah. Um, Going back to the Islam versus Oliveira card, I don't
yeah.
know if you saw, but Dariush is apparently
Was he out?
gonna be no, he's gonna be the backup in case one of them gets hurt.
Benil is the backup for that fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Benil Dariush is for now the backup of that fight if
I don't like
Oliveira
it.
or Islam gets hurt. You don't like that? I
No.
I kind of do, especially if Khabib's over here thinking that like Dariush is gonna. I mean that Oliveira is not gonna show up for the fight. That he's gonna have an injury or a weight cut issue, and that Dariush is gonna be the one to step in. Um, why don't you like that fight? I feel like um, I want to see Islam tested against somebody like Oliveira before I see anything against Dariush, just because Oliveira has that stand up and he also has
He's
some
very well
jiu-jitsu.
rounded.
Yeah, he's great. He's
He's
probably the
a
most
he's a
well-rounded fighter right now.
mm-hmm. He's a beast. His jujitsu is scary. He's got power, enough to he hurt Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
Like,
after getting hurt.
yeah, and Poirier. Like these guys, they're not slouches. He's finishing all these guys. So I mean, it was only half a pound that he missed last fight in May at 274. I think he'll be fine for this one. Because I mean, he's no stranger to having weight cut issues. Because that's why he went up to the lightweight division from the featherweight division. Because he missed a few times there, but I think he'll have it dialed in now. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I
Because it wasn't like 5 pounds that he missed by. It was just a half a pound.
true. And I always see like Oliveira being, or at least for me, he's always been like the underdog. Like I never end up picking Oliveira to win, and this one it's hard for me too because all the times that I've not picked Oliveira, he has won.
I put money on Oliveira already.
You did, so
Yeah, one of those like DraftKings free bets. I just put it on him.
I want to think that Islam is being overhyped. Um,
You think so? He's
Islam,
scary too.
he's
He's
scary,
a
man. He's got that, but I don't know, man.
he's got that Dagestani style of wrestling. I mean, it's not identical to Khabib's. It's very similar. He's definitely strong, but he doesn't have ground and pound. He's a submission guy. It's where Khabib took you to the ground and just mauled you, just pounded you into paste. But Islam, he just holds you and then he just puts a squeeze on you. It's a little different, but not identical fighters.
Yeah, I hope he gets kind of Darce. It gives me like a very, it's like the Khabib versus Tony fight that we never got
Yeah.
is what this feels like.
Okay.
Um,
Eh.
we can dive deeper into that in our
Next episode when
next
it's
episode though when
well
it's
in our
closer.
preview episode. Yeah.
Because yeah, so we still got a couple fight night cards and stuff before that
Yeah.
pay-per-view, but that's an exciting pay-per-view.
I think like I said before, that's the most exciting card of the whole year, I think.
Yeah, for sure, unless they get a John Jones versus Francis Ngannou card going.
I think it'll be Jones and Stipe. before any of that happens.
That would be cool too. I just want
That'd
to
be
see
cool too, but
Jones back in there already before.
you already know how that's gonna go. Money and politics in that one.
For sure.
Man.
We got anything else to go over?
No, we covered the boxing fight. We covered the fight nights. Kind of slightly previewed the next ones. No.
All right, man. Well, it's been a fun episode 4.
Yep.
We'll talk about our next fight versus what's the next fight? Not a Grasso. It's Mackenzie Dern versus Jan. The next UFC fight card. We'll talk about that one in a couple weeks or whatever. And preview the Alexa Grasso card. So
keep the pole out. Look in the club like 20 deep. I keep the Glock out. Shorty a T, she running around with a top out. There ain't no ops when I pull up. I clear the block out. Kid man shorter, he'll break your jaw. Call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about. Spin on the ops, but this season been a shutout. Learn from the best. I got the money I can show out. They ain't reaching change.